Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please roll over the like button and subscribe. Today, we'll be going over the Greenlake and Wallingford Paving and Multimodal Improvement Project. This was funded by the Levy to Move Seattle project and started in July 2019 and just ended this summer. It's a huge effort that features more than 6 miles of repaved streets, 500 new or upgraded curb ramps, as well as 4 miles of just new dedicated bike lanes and actual infrastructure. Here we are cycling north on Stoneway, where we see the new protected bike lanes. These are similar to the ones implemented on Fremont, uh, on 34th Avenue, as well as Dexter Avenue, that I've gone through and sort of talked about on this channel. And as we approach here, we get to West Green Lake Way and East Green Lake, where you can connect onto the new two-way cycling lanes. So we see here to get on this, there's actually this bike detector and with the accompanying sign to tell you if you're detected to actually trigger the signal. So you don't actually have to go and press the button, which is great and neat. And here we go. So now we're on the new two-way cycling lanes heading north and circumventing the whole lake. Previously, what we had was sort of a marked lane going southbound, and I believe just a wide shoulder going north. The problem with that mainly was on the going the northbound way. You were sort of sandwiched between parked cars and as well as cars behind you, and it led to that precarious situation where you're sort of nervous about getting doored or getting hit from the left. And I think definitely for any experienced cyclists, you know that sort of parked cars and doors are a constant issue and something that you have to be wary of. So with these new changes, it's definitely welcomed, I think, as it's a lot more appealing to a more wide variety of cyclists. Though there are caveats where you see here there is actually a lot of curb openings and protected light lane openings for pedestrians to use. So these will even show up even when there isn't a crosswalk. So it presents an opportunity for pedestrians to cross the street to get to the Green Lake, and that just means that you need to watch your speed since there's going to be a lot of cases where you're probably going to need to stop to make way for pedestrians. And naturally, I think that's just the sort of the main con of these protected bike lanes wherever they're implemented is that without a clear escape sort of way route or way to sort of maneuver around things, you just have to be able to brake and stop in sort of a moment's notice. Other than that, these are fantastic. Everything's been repaved, so the tarmac is now super smooth as opposed to before, and this just provides a sort of appealing way for most people to just ride around this super busy area and popular area. Here, the intersections are also vastly improved. They incorporated a dedicated bike box as well as some bike signals. The bike signals there are mainly to coordinate between you and the pedestrians crossing the street. It's not with the cars, so if it says red, it's probably just because the crosswalk signal is on, just to make sure that we give them the proper right of way and so on and so forth. But it's pretty neat to see this here in Seattle, where it feels like it's more of a where cycling is just as important as cars. You can sort of tell, at least for this street, because the cycling lanes are taking a fair portion of the entire roadway, and we're getting this now sort of environment where you can feel fairly insulated from all the cars as you ride around this really popular area. But as I mentioned before, and really can't stress enough, is there's definitely going to be a lot of other users as well as pedestrians that will be trying to access Green Lake. So just be on your heels for those, and don't just go heads down all out on a track like this. Definitely not recommended. But anyway, there's also some improvements made, especially in the business district and in particular the Ravenna Boulevard connection. They've added some beacons and lights to use and markings for cyclists to cross into those areas. Before it was just a five-way stop, I think, where it was just sort of a mad dash free for all of who would cross next, and it was always hard to negotiate. So with some of these changes coming up, it should be a little bit more easier for cars to identify and where you should cross to get to where you need to go safely. So that's coming up here with the huge new curbside ramp coming up, all the markings, as well as it's like some beacons that you can trigger to make sure that cars know that you're in the way. Also, in this area is a lot of the businesses and restaurants. So you'll see a lot more and more of these sort of curb openings. And here there's a pedestrian that's about to get on the way. We both stop, they let me go, but you can see that's just not a situation where you can really be going flat out. And some pedestrians simply just won't be looking. One other thing to call out is that these new bus stops, they've just incorporated them onto the cycle track themselves. So it's a pretty neat way and convenient way to use the public infrastructure as well. I've seen these also implemented on the Bellevue 108th Avenue with the raised ramps and the bus stops. Here, I'm going to overtake a few cyclists. Make sure you're always looking ahead to and calling out when you're going to be passing them, just to make sure that you don't get any nasty surprises. I think definitely with my experience riding on the Westlake cycle track for a long, long time, they definitely can be safe. It's just you really do have to shave some of the top speed that you might be tempted to go on and just be attentive of your surroundings. But overall, it should be a welcome introduction for most cyclists to use here. And it's just going to provide safe passage for most people going north south around the lake. As we continue here to the north end, the this 2-lane cycling path is actually going to turn back into a 1-lane cycling path. So this northbound direction actually just cuts off, and you'll be led to go in other directions or on the other side of the street. This just calling it out. I don't know why they didn't just continue it all the way, but that's the way it is for now. Other projects that they will probably do from here is to continue to revamp more of Stoneway heading south. Apparently, they ran out of budgeting, so that's not going to happen right away, but it should happen soon. But here, with those big green markings that were just on the ground, those are actually areas where there is an actual driveway and cars might actually enter those areas. So look out for those. Whenever you see green, it usually just means that cars can actually might need to know that we're there. So that's a good heads up. Other than that, this is just really straightforward. It's a lot of the same patterns they've used with a lot of bike signals and new crosswalks for everyone to use, and all the ramps have been upgraded to be accessible, so the ADA sort of approved. And here we are at where now the bike lane turns into a 1 lane. And so, yeah, let me know what you thought of these new improvements. Is it something you would actually use? And is it an improvement from before? Would love to hear your thoughts. And thanks so much for watching.